GM. GM. So, end of the day, Uniswap, I've already talked about it. If you want to trade Uniswap, do the momentum type of play. So, for anyone who's trading in Blue Belt, and you can see the swing trading masterclass, you'll know this, but I'll let everybody else in on it. Little secret we have. Depending on how this weekly closes, so you have to wait for the weekly close on Uniswap. If it closes like this, with this huge impulsive, I don't have volume on that for some reason, this big impulse candle, let me just put it on. We've got volume, big volume, right? High volume impulse candle. You can look for some continuation based upon a lower time frame. So, what does that mean? If it, especially if it closes around here or maybe slightly higher and closes with a nice strong weekly candle, which it should really. We're Saturday now. I wouldn't expect a massive dump or even a crazy pump now between now and the end of the week. That will set up a super strong, excuse me, valid breakout from the range, right? Then you can drop to a lower time frame, such as a daily, and wait for the first retest of the daily bands. So quite often what will happen here is in the next few days, price will chop around, right? And people will get themselves messed up. And then the bands will come up, price will hold off those, and then that's where you're going to get your best continuation. Generally, the big move was Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 10 days or 2 weeks from now before it has another move. And in that meantime, people just get themselves chopped up. So the point is, it's really simple. When I see a move like this, if I want to trade it on a higher time frame, right, if I'm looking at right, we've had our weekly move, that's nice. When are we going to get our next big weekly candle? Because for sure, Uniswap will go higher, right? I don't think it's going to just reverse and drop all the way back unless the governance proposal gets rejected, but that's not going to happen right away. Right? I don't believe that will happen soon. So what I do is you get the weekly move, obviously wait till tomorrow night, confirm the breakout, set your alerts on the daily bands, and this the first time it touches the daily EMA, as soon as it crosses the daily EMA, say look at swing / position trade long. And look for a setup on that, right? And that'll be looking at something like $20 or maybe even $30. But you have to wait, right? You have to wait for that actually to come, because otherwise you're just buying into this big green fucking candle hype. And buying here, what a lot of people will do is they'll buy here, and again, it'll end up going higher most likely, but it's this part in between where they might have to suffer maybe even a bigger drawdown, right? They might have to take a drawdown from 12 down to 10.50, which threatens them to get stopped out or panic or close. And, 1 week, 2 weeks, potentially even 3 weeks before it moves up, the opportunity cost. And so the reason for the bands being good for that, again, if you're in Blue Belt, you know this with Swing Trading Masterclass. The bands offer a sign the price has pulled back to some type of fast moving, right? It's only a 12 EMA, fast moving average that indicates some kind of trend reset. It would tell you as well that price is not going up. Currently, it's pulling back. And if that's going to be, if it's going to equal continuation, people will come in and buy the dip. Also, if the bands hold, a lot of automatic program traders will use those to fill their orders, right? They'll have orders set algorithmically to buy when it hits the bands. Also, it's just how the markets move. Trend, consolidate, trend. So we've had the trend. Crypto trends happen very fast, especially breaking news. That's it. That's the trend. Do we go a bit higher, another spike? Sure, possibly. Not impossible. But we've had the bulk, right? We've had the majority of the trend. Uniswap has doubled pretty much doubled in 3 or 4 days. We've had the majority of that trend. We now need some kind of consolidation, and then we get another trend. So that's uni, and then I'll fly through a few others and explain why sectors matter. So you go to sectors, go to should have DeFi, not DeFi. We should have exchanges. Sorry, they're centralized exchanges. Where is my? No, wait a second. It's on one of my lists. DEX perps. Here we go. So DYDX, absolutely ripping, and I'm actually long DYDX. So this morning I started to get long. Now this is a low time frame trade. I got long in this consolidation here, long around there. So by the time you watch this, I might have closed it. I'm not saying like this is an amazing entry for a long term trade, but with DYDX, the momentum it has, I can see it going for the highs and running straight for that liquidity because it was already in a good setup. If you remember from the altcoin request stream, I was saying DYDX's chart looks really, really good. And once it can get above the 2023 previous level, the 2023 highs, once it can get above that level, that's where it can really run from. And so that's exactly where I got long. Seen that, right? That was 2023 previous highs. So I think it was Jan, or was it, when was it? March? Sorry, I'm looking at this. I think it was March, maybe. March highs. February 2023 Feb highs. That was a big level for DYDX all year. Right, get rid of that volume, we don't need it. Big level for DYDX. Pushed up, deviated above it, pushed back below, retested it, came down, broke above it today. So, or yesterday, sorry, or maybe this morning. So it was this morning. So I saw it on the low time frames. It acted as a pivot. Got along with the pivot. Away we go. I'd expect that to hold. And my target for this trade, because it's on a low time frame, is just a new high. Right? I'd say if we can go and attack this liquidity today or this weekend, that's what I expect. But also, like, if I start to see signs of weakness, going up into the highs, I'll not be holding on, doggedly for it. If we push up and it starts to, show signs of weakness, I'll just exit if I don't get the setup to stay long. But why is DYDX pumping? Well, the way it works is crypto is very much a monkey see, monkey do type of industry, where if one, especially a big player like Uniswap, if Uniswap announce fee share and revenue share, it's going to put massive pressure on their competitors to do so. DYDX isn't a direct competitor of Uniswap. Uniswap just does straight, swaps, predominantly just spot. DYDX is a perp exchange, but in crypto, they are both decentralized exchanges. That's what really matters, right? So DYDX is one. You've got GMX, which is moving up a bit. You've got Vertex, which having a big move because I think I'm pretty sure Vertex already have. I think Vertex already have fee share, revenue share, as part of their protocol. You can double check that. And Rabbitx there had a pump, but I mean that's just a fucking horrendous chart. And so Aave is moving up. That's a Compound smashing higher. I guess this as well. So I guess we'll cover this well. The thing you want to be looking at are decentralized perps, decentralized exchanges. So I know Jupiter, which is on, Jupiter's having a move here as well because Jupiter's on Solana, but it's a decentralized exchange aggregator. Probably like the speculation here, right? What they're doing here is the speculation that the market is doing is saying, are these other protocols going to follow suit and do their own proposals to share revenue? This is going to set off a new trend or a new theme in the market for rev share. Now, there's already been revenue share from a bunch of new projects, but these older ones haven't had to do it now until now. If they start to, that's when you could see the DeFi 1.0, the Dino DeFi stuff. That's when you could see it coming back and being fucking huge. So this is something that I'll talk about and I'll dig into on Weekly Outlook in more depth. But if you're looking at the low time frame trading, you want to be looking at all these like Aave, Compound. These are all profitable businesses, essentially. These are like the cornerstone of crypto. Sushi Swap, of course. You see them all on big moves. Now, this doesn't mean that any of them 1inch the DEX aggregator, and this doesn't mean that they have announced or they're going to do it. But if Uniswap actually do it, it's going to be very, very, very hard for any of these other ones to not do it, right? Because they have to keep pace in some way. Also, the race is probably on now for who can do it first. Yeah, there might be another protocol that pushes through a proposal quicker so that they can beat Uniswap to the punch. See, that's where you get this whole game theory now about when one does it, they all have to do it. It's a bit like what happened whenever BlackRock applied for the Bitcoin ETF. Well, suddenly you've got Fidelity, you've got Franklin Templeton, you've got Bitwise and all the ones that were in, but you've got a bunch of people scrambling to get into the game because if BlackRock are in, everyone else needs to be in, right? It's given that legitimacy to it. If Uniswap are given legitimacy to fee switches, then the rest of them are really going to have to follow, or else they'll just get left behind. So that's what you want to keep an eye on. From a trading perspective, trade decentralized exchanges and DeFi, old DeFi 1.0, and go and look at the most profitable ones. These are the ones that people are going to bid. Really simple. Not just exchanges, but all. Go and look at what are the most profitable, not chains. I don't want chains. What are the most profitable bridges, exchanges, gaming, fucking everything, right? Just put all these on. What is the most profitable? Obviously, Uniswap is the most profitable. Or Lido, actually, technically. So, looking at all of these in order, like Maker, Aave, that's why Aave is doing so well. Right? You got Venus, DYDX, obviously pumping. The more profitable one of these things is, the more fees it can make. And if it then goes and adds the fee split and fee share, revenue share, it's going to be more profitable for the holders. So in order of how much they make, that's where the market's probably going to gamble on or bet on their short-term price action. So that's the short term. Weekly outlook, I'll do a deep dive into how this could change the market over the next few months. GM.